This is my first year at EXP Realty, and I wanted to give you my honest review, a 360-degree overview of my experience here. Let's talk about first the reality versus my expectation. First and foremost, it blew me away. My expectations were really, really high in this company. I honestly was pitched so many times for years that I should join here. I had, again, a really high expectation coming in, and it blew me away. I never thought that honestly I'd make this much money from all the other income streams so quickly, and it honestly wasn't too difficult. I'm aligned with some awesome people who put some good systems in place that made it nice and easy for me. The splits were exactly like they talked about. The technology was exactly like they talked about. It was a nice, simple transition after my first month. Truly, my first month was a little nerve-wracking. We went from an in-person situation at Keller Williams as a brick and mortar, and at EXP, there is no offices, so it was a kind of a little bit of a rush patch at the very beginning. First 30 days, really, at any company that you switch to is going to be a little bit of a tough time, but here at EXP, again, because there's no offices, I had to figure things out. It was a little bit rough for the first 30 days, but outside of that, absolutely blew me away with everything else. So I want to dive deep into some pros, into what can be some cons for you, just so you understand everything, because everyone really just talks so highly of this company, but I found some cons with it. There's a lot of people that can make a really good thing sound like a bad thing. So let's talk about the recruiting aspect, because everyone in the world is talking about revenue share. The revenue share opportunity is insane, but there's a lot of people who do no business who are attracted by this quote-unquote MLM model, a network marketing model, and they give EXP a bad rap. Look, honestly, I hate the spammers, I hate the constant annoying text messages, I hated all of it, because I'd be hit up by a bunch of people, and they kept just hitting me up saying, again, you should look at this and all this kind of stuff, and I just wasn't prepared to make a switch at that time. Because listen, you're not gonna just switch companies. It's like moving. Moving can be a pain in the butt, and look, moving in real estate is no different. So the spammers, the people who really don't do any business, and they kind of just keep trying to recruit like crazy, yes, can give you a bad rap. Outside of really the stigma and the annoying spammers, there's obviously a lot of pluses when it comes to culture, the experience you have with it. It really boils down to somebody like your upline, your sponsor. That is the most important thing when it comes to joining EXP Realty. And I want to make sure that for those of you listening, really pay attention to that. Because when you do join, you want to make sure you do have an incredible sponsor like I do. Somebody who really wants to take care of you, wants to see you succeed, is willing to do anything for you. Because listen, another con, I've had people tell me they left EXP because they had a terrible sponsor, and they ended up leaving the company, and they're waiting it out so that they can come back to EXP with a new sponsor. It's absolutely crazy how much your sponsor actually plays a massive role in your success truly at this company. Because especially, by the way, if you're a newer agent. If you're an established agent like myself, it really doesn't pay, it's not too much of a big deal. If you're a newer agent, you have to rely on your sponsor quite a lot. So if you don't have somebody like myself who's really invest in my agents, it can be a real rough game. EXP is a very, very, very self-dependent company. And for people like myself, I thrive on it. For a lot of people, especially newer agents, it can be really tough to have this much freedom because listen, you're at a virtual office. You don't have the office manager down the block where you can just hit them up and say like, hey, I have a question on this. Listen, everything's digital, everything's virtual. So if you're a newer agent and you're at home and you were recruited by somebody from across the country and you're all by yourself at home, it can be kind of lonely. Who do you ask for help? You have to do everything digitally. It can be kind of, hard to deal with. But again, if you're self-reliant like I am, where everything I take 100% responsibility for, and if I need something answered, I know where to go get those questions answered. And again, if you have a great sponsor, you can rely on your sponsor pretty heavily. For all the agents that I've recruited, a lot of them rely on me, and I'm more than happy to help them out. But again, if you don't have a great sponsor, it can be a rough time in your first few months. And it's really the biggest, most important time of your entire career, because listen, I had a really rough start. I lost everything my first year, years ago when I started the business because I didn't have a good mentor. If you have a really good mentor, aka a great sponsor, you can see massive levels of success. Also, at EXP, the brand recognition isn't like Keller Williams or isn't like RE/MAX where everyone knows the company. But listen, it's not like you're hiring Mr. RE/MAX or Mr. Keller to list your home. You're hiring you, you're hiring me, you're hiring the agent in front of you. And this is exactly what I say to all my sellers, and they kind of understand the point. Just because they haven't heard anything, I don't care if I would be at, John Smith Real Estate, who cares? Or Henry Eisenstein Real Estate, I can still sell a ton of homes. It's not really about brand recognition so much anymore. Years ago, I can understand the argument, but look, this is a massive organization now, almost 50,000 agents, depending on when you're listening to this here at EXP. It's a global company, but depending on your local area, there might not be a lot of agents. And I joined when there was not even 1,000 agents in New Jersey, so it's definitely not a huge brand recognition like Keller Williams or RE/MAX when I was out here. But now, people are really starting to see the massive growth growth and see that online more often.
Last but not least,
I have a lot of people that I talk to who go, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm content, I'm happy here. Now listen, I was in the same exact boat as most of you here today were. Listen, I was content at Keller Williams. I didn't have an ill word to really say about them. They let me do my thing. I was a top 10 agent out of almost 2,000 agents in the organization that they have, everyone they recruited. And it doesn't really matter your production, but listen, I was fine. I was content. I was good. But I didn't understand what I was truly missing out on. My sponsor, awesome guy, I used to work for him before. He reached out to me about a year and a half before I actually made the switch. He was like, hey, Henry, you really got to look into this. And I just wasn't prepared to hear it. And listen, I'm kicking myself because I wish I left so much sooner. But listen, life works itself out. Regardless, what I want you to hear is this. If you're content, if you're just fine, if you're the kind of person who keeps saying these things out loud, if someone comes over to you about possibly joining, it's because you haven't found the right sponsor. Because my sponsor, who again is like a dear friend of mine, I literally trust him inherently, took me aside and he really opened up my eyes to say, listen, let's take a quick second. I'm not saying you don't like your company, it has nothing to do with that. But let's talk about just opportunity to opportunity. And when he broke it all down to me, this was a no-brainer decision. And I don't make anything in my life a fast move. Nothing in my life moves quickly, right? Except for my sales skills, right? My lead generation moves super quick. But when it comes to big decisions, I don't like doing anything fast. I like to talk it all out. I like to write it all out. I like to meet with my coaches, my mentors, and everything. But this was an absolute no-brainer when you break it down. So listen, we've all been in your shoes, me included, in the sense of I was content, I was happy, and I did not understand what I was truthfully missing out on. If you want to take your life and business to the next level, you have to reach out to somebody in this organization. Obviously, we'd love to partner with you. But other things that you can look into is, what is your sponsor, the person you're going to partner with, what are they doing for you? What will they do for you? By the way, it is okay to ask that question. What are you going to do for me? Is things that I've asked the people in my life. Because listen, at the end of the day, I know I have to take care of me. Your sponsor is going to make a lot of money on your production, so they have to bring you an immense amount of value. And that's what I'm about to, that's what I've been portraying and building and creating for all the people in my organization. I think it's really, really important to bring as much value as you possibly can. I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.